power of the President, the Speaker, the Chief Justice, etc., to realign funds within their respective departments. Hindi po ba?
Yes, Your
In
Honor.
fact, that provision was the subject of the Araulio ruling. Hindi rin nagtatapos sa Article 6, Section 25, Paragraph 5. In the GAA itself, you have provisions for contingency funds. Hindi po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, klarong-klaro po sa atin na ang constitutional mechanisms for budgetary responsiveness are there. We don't need UAs, Madam Solgen, because they are too risky for me. They are so risky and heavy na hindi sila makakasya sa isang maleta. They need to be encased in several maletas. So, let's go back to the budget cycle, just to be clear about it further. So, yan po yung ating budget preparation cycle, Madam Solgen. Unang-una po dyan, yung budget preparation, na-explain na ng mabuti ni Saj and Justice Ben kung anong nangyayari sa budget preparation. Pagdating sa budget legislation, sinasabit ng Presidente yung ating sinasabing BESF kasama ang NEP, ang kanyang message to Congress at yung staffing pattern. Hindi po ba? Apat yan eh. Ngayon po, sa budget preparation, yung budget message, hindi ko na i-explain yan, just to be short. Yung budget of expenditures and sources of financing, this is a budget document that reflects the annual program of estimated expenditures and sources of financing, including receipts from existing and proposed revenue measures, which is constitutionally mandated to be submitted by the President to Congress as the basis of the GAB. Yun namang NEP ay may pagkakaiba sa BESF. Although ang sinasabi ko nga po, ang Constitution natin ay mas pinangahalagaan ang BESF at hindi ang NEP. Ang NEP naman is the budget document that contains the details of the proposed programs of the government that it submits to Congress. It serves as the basis of the General Appropriations Bill, which becomes the GAA upon enactment. So pagdating sa second phase, yung budget legislation, andyan na yung House deliberations at ang Senate deliberations matapos ang deliberations sa House. Magkakaroon ngayon ng bicameral conference committee deliberations. And then there is ratification and enrollment. And finally, these are submitted to the President for enactment. The enactment of the budget or the budget legislation phase ends when the President already signs the GAA into law. And that's where he can veto items, exercising those powers as vested to him by the Constitution. So yun po yung buong cycle, Madam Solgen. Now let me just go to some specifics. And there is this table that I happened to stumble on. It came from Budget Brief Number 1 of the Congressional Policy and Budget Research Department of the House of Representatives. Nandyan po. Let me just validate or ask by way of questions from the DBM representative kung tama po yung table na yan. May I request your budget representative to come to the rostrum? At pakisilip po kung tama ang inyong nakikita sa monitor. If you will see, Council, taking a look at Table 1 under 2024 and 2025 columns, the total expenditure program for 2024 amounted to 5767.6. Tama po, no? Yan yung enacted budget for 2024. At yun namang 2025, ang enacted budget or appropriations, or total expenditure program ay 6326.3. Pero sa itaas po niyan ng total expenditure program and under total available appropriations ay niles yung UAs. So less under 2024, 731.4, and then under 2025, less yung 363.4. Is there a reason why hindi po isinisama yung UAs sa total expenditure program?
Your Honor, the unprogrammed appropriations are excluded because the sources of financing are different from the sources of financing for the programmed appropriations.
Because they are triggered in the future. Hindi po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
And in that sense, the source of funding is not therefore clear at the time of the enactment of the budget.
Your Honor, may I respond to that?
Yes, please. Because yun naman ang pananaw ko, Madam Soljen, kung bakit itong unprogrammed appropriations, walang kinalalagyan yan sa budget dapat. Kasi nga po, hindi klaro yung sources of financing. They're not even considered expenditure at the time of enactment.
Your Honor, the sources of financing of the unprogrammed appropriations also refer to the sources of financing in the BESF, but there is a target when breached will then be the source of financing. Secondly, Your Honor, it is also our position that even in the programmed appropriations, the requirement under the Constitution is that instead of receipts, the constitutional provision says sources of financing based on existing or proposed revenues, which are also not existing at the time of enactment, Your Honor.
But you have a technical meaning for excess, hindi po ba? Kung saan manggagaling yung UAs.
Yes,
So
Your
saan po
Honor.
papasok yung excess sa sources of financing? Tama po kayo, yung panggagalingan ng excess ay identified, hindi po ba?
Tama po, Your Honor.
Pag nagka-excess, dun siya matitrigger.
Tama po, Your Honor.
Post-enactment already. Hindi po ba?
Yes,
At ang
Your Honor.
pag-release niya is also post-enactment. Hindi po ba?
Yes, Your Honor. It
And
will be the execution.
that's where congressional discretion in the argument of the Erice petition becomes discretionary. I mean, congressional discretion is surrendered to the executive department. It is now the executive department, according to the Erice petition, that is now exercising where to spend the excess funds.
Your Honor.
Hindi po ba?
Hindi po ganoon ang posisyon ng respondents sapagkat pag po pinasa ng Congress sa GAA, ito po ay mga na-identify na rin nila na purposes, na programs, in-identify na din po ang specific amounts. Ang hindi
Except
na
the
lamang
excess, kasi nga hindi nyo alam eh.
po. Opo. So,
Hindi po ba? So pag nakaroon ng excess, doon lang malalaman how much. And yung excess na yan, malaking problema po yan. Kasi at the time of enactment, hindi pa yan present. Hindi po ba? So yung discretion ng Congress to determine how much should be appropriated for a particular government activity is not there, contrary to what the Constitution provides.
Your Honor, if I may,
Sure, Madam Sol.
if I may clarify,
I'm sorry kung medyo
I understand
emotional po
po,
tayo kasi talagang matindi po ang hate ko sa UAs.
naintindihan po natin at pare-pareho po tayong
Ihuwas po talaga yan sa akin. I really hate unprogrammed appropriations.
so Your Honor,
And I'm sure many of our fellow Filipinos feel the same way.
opo.
Please,
Opo.
Soljen, I'm sorry.
Tama naman po iyon. Ang posisyon lamang po ng government ay maigi po ngayong panahon na ito na ang composition ng Supreme Court ay maalam, matalas sa economics. Subalit ang posisyon po ng government ay if there are functions that are lodged in the different and co-equal branches of government, then the limits to those powers should also be defined by the Constitution. And that is what we are saying, that based on the textually demonstrable requirements for the budget, which the respondents are acknowledging that there are limits, they are not unbounded power, but it is our very respectful submission that if the judiciary will be the one to give the guardrails or what should be how the budget should be implemented, I most respectfully proffer the position of the respondents that will make the judiciary a super branch and not a co-equal branch, if I may.
We will never be that, Madam Soljen. Kaya po tayo nag-i-hearing ngayon, merong petition na hinabla ang mga petitioners. And it's our constitutional duty to hear these cases. And we have, in fact, constitutional jurisdiction over these cases on the basis of our expanded power of judicial review. Anyway, going back to my slides po, Madam Soljen. Next slide, please. So sa ngayon, ang ating GAA ay ganyan ang itsura. Merong total expenditure programs at naka-chain doon, nakatali yung unprogrammed appropriations. So there are those three triggers, Madam Soljen. Yung excess non-tax revenues, new revenue measures, at yung AFPs, approved loans for foreign assisted projects. And just to repeat, ito pong mga unprogrammed appropriations na ito, in my understanding of our constitutional framework on budget, ay walang espasyo sa General Appropriations Act. They are riders because they are not, or they do not provide for specific sources of funding. Kasi nga, sa kinabukasan pa sila makikita kung merong excess. Ang mas masama, hindi po alam kung sino ang pwedeng mag-release, whether it is the President or his secretaries in DBM, etc., etc. So yun po ang aking pananaw kung bakit ang UA, if contained in the GAA, ay rider. At yung pong inyong mga sinasabing triggers, yung tatlong yan, excess non-tax, new revenue measures, approved loans, very clear po sa ating limang amici, kahit po si Congressman Salceda nagsasabi mismo, itong mga UA na ito ay risky. Ang position nga po ni former Congressman Salceda, dagdagan ang mga guardrails. Kasi nga po, talagang nakita na yung mga risk for misuse and abuse. And I said earlier that this unconstitutional framework where you have UAs chained to the General Appropriations Act, eh hindi po makasya sa isang maleta eh. Several maletas. Kaya po ang dapat gawin natin dyan ay to cut off those chains with a chainsaw, hindi lang knife. Kasi hindi po kayang i-cut off ng simpleng knife yan. Napakabigat ng mga UA na yan such that it will require a chainsaw to cut off those whisks. So that's my position, Madam Soljen,
Your
with
Honor.
regard to UAs.
Your Honor, may I respond?
Yes, please.